Silverdome here in Pontiac, Michigan. And as you can see, while the football team is away, mud racing has taken over the place. And that means that this beautiful car here has to race through the mud. And for more on that, let's go over to Bret.
The sport of super-modified mud racing includes some of the most powerful indoor motorsports machines in the world. But one thing keeps the competition on an even keel, includes the parity in this type of racing. It's these tires. They're restricted to 44-inch high maximum, Department of Transportation approved, street-legal tires, just like you could buy at your local tire store. But there's a loophole in even that standard. The teams can cut the tread on these tires to any design that they feel works best. And everybody in this type of competition has an idea as to which design is going to beat the opponent.
Now, the important thing here in this race is that these vehicles do not race against each other. They race against the clock.
That's right. Each lane is timed individually, and it's the fastest vehicles in each lane that advance into the next round.
Now for our first race in lane 1. It is Time Traveler, driven by Bud Thompson from Niles, Michigan. Time Traveler is a 1955 Thunderbird, valued at $20,000. He will be racing against Expect No Mercy in lane 2, driven by Todd Marion. He's from Jenison, Michigan.
Lane 1 is the farthest from us. Lane 2 closest to the camera. Here we go. Time Traveler coming through the mud. Look at him fly through the mud. Almost goes out of bounds right there.
And there you have it, Time Traveler with a time of 1.913. That will be the time to beat here. Remember, the top 2 times in each lane advance to the finals.
Well, here's Expect No Mercy, and he has set the time standard at 2.002 in lane 2.
In case you're wondering how these machines come to a halt, they have a safety switch that kills the engine right at the end of the run. Now, for our second race, it will be Let's Boogie, driven by Tony FIOROT in lane 1. He's 28 years old. And in lane 2, Steve DELEEW driving Bodacious. He's 27. He's from Holland, Michigan.
Bodacious is a replica of a 58 Corvette with a Chevy motor. Flagman start. Here we go. Oh, look at Bodacious. Wow. He really got on it.
And Bodacious was just that as he flew through the course. Now let's take a look at Let's Boogie, who made it through this course in a time of 2.424.
Not a real fast time, but he keeps on going. He's still in the program.
Let us remind you that these cars are not racing against each other. They are racing against time. The top 2 go to the finals. Now, Bodacious, Jerry, seemed to touch very little mud.
That's right, just skimming across the mud. This is the first supercharged motor and a time of 1.946.
Our next heat features American Made in lane 1. It's driven by Jeff ACKER. This is a custom-made Jeep, and it's a little bit lighter because it has a hollow tube frame. He'll be going against Instant T, driven by Chad Miller, 22 years old. He's driving a 1927 Ford Roadster. And did I mention it's noisy in here?
Good start, but remember, both of these lanes are being timed individually. Let's check the times now. Instant T got out first, but he got a little crossed up coming out of the starting line, and I think that might have cost him a tenth of a second.
His time, 2.303. Now let's look at American Made.
American Made with a good straight run and a time of 2 seconds flat.
Our next race features Mud Patrol in lane 1 and Mud Buster in lane 2. Driving Mud Patrol is the 2-time champion, Tom Martin. 23 years old. He's from Portage, Indiana. He's been driving for 5 years, and he's driving a 1932 Ford Coupe. In Mud Buster is Mark Green, 33 years old, from Waukegan, Illinois. He will be driving a 1979 Jeep CJ2.
All eyes on the starting line. Flag about ready to go up. Here we go. Tom Martin and Mark Green. A great run. That has to be a great time for Tom Martin. Tom Martin is happy.
And the reason he's happy because he flew through this course in a time of 1.857, which is the fastest time here today.
Tom Martin, very consistent. Here we go with Mudbuster, and his time, 1.930.
And not a bad time, because at this point in the competition, that puts him in the semifinals in lane 1 with one of the 2 fastest times. The fastest times in lane 2 are Mud Patrol and Bodacious. Now for our next heat. In lane 1, it will be Ground Zero, driven by Jeff Sterken. He's 25 years old, from Holland, Michigan. He'll drive a 1984 Chevy S10. And in lane 2, Roger Davis, driving the Silver Bullet. 27 years old. He's from El Dorado, Illinois. He will be driving a 1978 Chevy Love Truck.
Ground Zero gets the jump, but look at the Silver Bullet comes on fast. His interval time has got to be lower.
The Silver Bullet with an excellent run. For the time of 1.810, it is the fastest time today. It not only places him in the semifinals, but it knocks out Bodacious, who had a time of 1.946 earlier in the day. Now, as you've seen, anything can happen. We still have more racing. Coming up now in lane 1 is Bonkers, driven by Mike Camella. He's 26 years old, from Cleveland, Ohio. He'll be driving a 1988 Chevy S10. He goes against Michigan Off-Road, driven by Mark Watros. He's 30 years old, from Lansing, Michigan.
That's an 86 funny car, valued at over $75,000. Here we go. Look at the funny car. Wow, he brings it to a halt. And the crowd loves this one.
Michigan with a fine time of 1.951. Bonkers with a time of 2.200. Both very fine times, but not good enough to make it into the semifinals. This is the way the semifinals will shape up. Lane 1, Mudbuster and Time Traveler. Lane 2, Mud Patrol and Silver Bullet. Coming up next, the finals in the Demolition Derby and another world record attempt by Spanky Spangler in the Falling Star stunt. Welcome back to the Pontiac Silverdome. I'm Ahmad Rashad, along with Jerry Devine. Our next event, the Demolition Final. Now, these are the finalists. Let me remind you that these are the same cars that they drove in the earlier rounds. They've just been repaired as much as possible, and here they go at it.
That's right, Ahmad, and of course the key element for these drivers is the pit crews. Pit crews have a tremendous job to put these machines back in running order. To do that, they use baling wire, duct tape. They can put on new tires and pull the metal away from the tires so they don't burn up the tires anymore, but it's a very, very tough job.
There you see car number 10. That's Frank Zimick. He has been racing for quite a while. He says he wrecks 25 cars a year. And there's Connie Limmer, one of our feature drivers in the earlier rounds. She looks to be in a little bit of trouble.
Well, her crew had a lot of trouble getting her car back in shape, but they've done an excellent job. Now, this is the final, and on this race, we're going to go right down till there's one car running.
It is amazing to me to see these cars in this condition still moving.
Well, that's right. We've all seen auto accidents and seen cars put out of commission, and these cars just keep on running.
Number 28, Connie Limmer, is pulling off the checkered flag, meaning that she is out of the competition.
And as these cars drop out, the running cars have to maneuver around them, so it becomes more difficult, and the competition becomes more keen. We want to keep an eye on car number 543, Patrick Zorn.
Also, car number 409 is Richard Connolly. He's the defending champion.
These two are going to go head-to-head. Looks like 409 might be having a problem right here.
And he is having a problem. There you see the timekeeper indicating to Connolly that he only has a set time to get his car started, or he is out of the race. There is the red flag. Connolly is out of the race, and you see a thumbs up from Patrick Zorn, who wins the Demolition Derby. Now, he has entered a few of these competitions in the past, but this is his first time ever being the champion. His hobbies, he says, anything that